Hey girl, hey, welcome back to Outta My
I'm
Chelle.
coming out.
It is, I'm not even going to say the day because this is not a Thursday broadcast, but I am going to load it probably on Tuesday because this particular thing happened. So, welcome back. This month we are talking about what we should be doing, what to do while in your due season. So I had this dream last night, actually, and it brought forth all this revelation that was totally related to due season. So without further ado, play on words, further ado. I'm here all night. Anyway, without further ado, tonight's topic is called access granted. Woo, you've been granted access to your due season. So I had a dream about someone breaking in and in the middle of the night. So I got up for some reason and I'm walking through the house and we have these huge windows and I see someone's reflection who looked like someone I knew, but as they approached later, I realized who they were. This person is highly dangerous and has had a great impact in my life, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. So I was startled and I ran back because the person saw me in the dream. So I ran back to the bedroom. I woke up my husband. So I'm like, there's someone in the house. So he grabbed the shotgun and he's leading the way. And we're walking through the house. The person is inside and they jump when they see us, like, and actually said to me, "You startled me. You scared me." What? So the Hubs is standing there with the gun pointed toward this person. Eventually, he puts the gun down. He lowers the gun because the person's like, "Let me explain. Can you please put your gun down?" And the Hubs did. But in the dream, I was really thinking about how dangerous this person is. And I remember thinking, if we let this person go, we will not be safe. They will come back and they will do something to harm us. But the Hubs lowered the gun and was like, let him explain, let him share his side. So he's still standing there though, fully engaged with the rifle, but it's not pointed at him anymore. So this person proceeds to tell me about how they've been released from prison for the last year and they had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. No one was willing or ready or able to take care of them or to help them. And this person knew, they just knew, I would not be happy with them being homeless. So for an entire year, they were breaking into our home in the middle of the night. Oh, and the person said, you're not usually awake during this time, so you scared me. Wah, 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 wah. Should have been speaking like that because that's how much sense it made. Scared him, me waking up in the middle of the night. The individual said that, for a year they've been there, getting clothing from the hubby, wearing his clothes, eating and sleeping with the warmth and comfort of television and, the warm environment, getting our electricity for an entire year. For an entire year. For an entire year, we did not miss food. We did not miss my husband's clothing. We didn't hear anyone up. We didn't hear anything. We were in such a deep, still slumber that we heard nothing for an entire year. I listened to the person. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, you have to go. Go to lock the door after the person exits. And as we're walking back to the bedroom, I hear the door get kicked in again. And unbeknownst to both of us, I hear a shot, the firing of a gun. Now, we didn't know that the individual had a gun, but all of this, my body could not take anymore. And I woke up and my heart's pounding and I know who this individual is. And I'm like, God, what are you trying to tell me? Is the person released from prison? Should I be alarmed? All these different things. I ended up calling my daughter and we talked about the dream, but we also talked about my topic for this week. And she came up with the access granted for your due season. That's the topic. So that dream communicated a few things as it relates to our due season and what we must do in the due season. First of all, we have to stop listening to the enemy. Us sitting there and allowing this person, this dangerous individual, this person that will harm us, okay, without a second thought, We sat and actually listened to their side of the story, and it made us vulnerable to empathy, right? Those feelings of, oh, well, they were homeless. Second, we must not let ourselves get manipulated. Um, that individual actually tried to use my heart against me. So because, Michelle, you're such a nice person. You would never want anyone homeless. You would not want to see me in the street. So I was breaking into your house for a whole year and eating your food and stealing clothes from Antoine and sleeping in your house and making sure you're unsafe because I'm dwelling in your abode because of your big heart, Michelle. Manipulation is from the enemy. It is not of God. That's second. And then we have to be careful that we're not listening also, because in listening to the enemy, it brings distractions. We get distracted from the real purpose of what's going on, the real severity of where we are, the lessons that we can potentially be learning, the blessings that we can potentially be aborting or putting up for adoption, okay, surrendering to others. We get distracted. So we can't even see the danger. Danger, Will Robinson. I know you guys, it's way over your head. You're too young for that. But we can't even see the danger that lurks ahead because we're distracted. In the end, yes, we put him out and he left, but broke in again. Danger. And then there was a gunshot. Now, I don't know if in the dream one of us was shot, whatever, because I woke up. But because of the distraction of listening to the enemy, we put our guards down. When we're distracted, possessions can be taken from us. Things that belong to us can be taken, can be snatched. We can give them away without even knowing it. In the dream, that individual had access because we were in such a deep slumber. How often are we just kind of sleeping our way through life? How many of you have slept your way through 2020 because it was so hard to face everything that was going on around you? And I get it. When things are hard, we do want to sleep. We want to sleep and we don't want to wake up until it's all over. We want to sleep until we know we will awake and joy is in the room. Joy is overtaking us. But in that sleeping, you'll miss some of the lessons. You'll miss some of the opportunities for growth. You'll miss creative and witty inventions and witty ideas. What have you lost? What have you lost or given access to because you were in such a deep slumber? Because you were distracted by the frills and the thrills and daffodils that kill. Wait of children. I'm sorry, Prince. Oh, where'd you come from, Prince? I'm sorry. But because you were distracted by the thrills, or you were distracted by distractions. You were distracted because it was easier to deal with and cope and navigate through life by being distracted, by being drunk, by being high, but being distracted by food, by chocolate, by overeating, by television, by sex, by whatever that numbing agent is, being distracted by it because it's easier to live in distraction than live watching destruction. But see, destruction is based on your perception and your perspective, right? Because there are people going through this pandemic right now who are highly blessed, who are growing by leaps and bounds, who we've seen grow before our very eyes in 9 months. You're wondering, why is it that God is blessing them so much more? Often it's not that God's not blessing them. It's not that you're not in your due season. It's a perspective shift. We need a perspective shift. So my question to you was, what have you lost? I really want you to think about that. What have you lost or given access to because you've been sleeping? You've been in that deep slumber. So as I said before, 2020, the end of 2020 and the year 2021 is our due season. We're already there. This is your due season. Today, right now is your due season. 2020, the majority of 2020 was the year of exposing perfect vision. All the things we needed to see to reshape how we're walking through this earth, to reshape how we're showing up in this earth, to reshape and remind us of what is really important, to reshape and remind us of our priorities and what we really should be seeking after. 2020 was perfect vision to show everyone everywhere what they needed. Not what they wanted, not how God was just going to bless them, but what they needed. Jesus. 2020 was the year of divine insight. And so now that we can see what we really need, our true need for God, now it's the time to sow the seeds into relationships and into value in people and into purpose and into God, what can I learn from this? Sow the seeds there. Sit at God's feet. Ask him to show you everything you should have learned for 2020. Ask him to uproot those small seeds that you didn't really fertilize, but you did sow the seeds, right? Out of ignorance, out of whatever, out of slumber. Ask him to pluck those seeds up so that they don't reap a harvest of corruption. Ask him to show you what seeds to sow so that your harvest can be plenteous. So what will you do with this access? This access that you've been granted because you're turning 21, girl. 2021. You legal now, honey. What are you going to do with this access? Are you going to surrender the access to leeches like that person who broke into the house and attaching itself to us for a full year without our knowledge, without our understanding, taking, sucking, drawing off of us? I forgot to tell you that even in the dream, the person said they would set the alarm on the phone that I didn't even miss, a cell phone that I didn't miss that apparently I was still paying for. He was setting the alarm for 30 minutes before we woke up because we were so predictable. He had our patterns down. He knew when we slept. He knew when we awoke because he was the enemy, because the enemy watches. He seeks whom he may devour. He's slithering around, seeking whom he may devour. Don't give him access to devour you. It's time to wake up. It's time to be cognizant of everything that's going on. Your relationship with God, your relationship with people, your relationship with yourself, your purpose, your dreams, your visions, your values, your mission in life. It's time to stay woke. It's not time for you to sleep. I know 2020 was hard for so many people, but it's time to wake up. It's time to get the crust and the little grimy stuff out your eyes. It's time to wipe off that nasty, dried up saliva that you've been sleeping with all over your pillow. It's time to take your towel and wash your face and be pretty and show up and walk into the room where the access is granted. Access is granted right now for you, not just for me, but for you, for us. Okay. Will you take the lessons learned in 2020 to make creative and wise decisions as you turn 21, girl? It's your legal age of access. Yes, it is your legal age of access. Y'all know that in the natural, when you're 20, sometimes you miss the lessons of 20. Sometimes you miss the blessings of 20. Sometimes you don't even enjoy being 20. You kind of slide through it because you're so looking forward to, girl, next year I'm turning 21. I'll be legal. I could drink. I can go into the clubs. I can do this. I can do that. I'm going to be an adult. My mama can't tell me nothing. All of that. So you're sliding through 2020 and you're missing all of the strategic messaging that God is downloading into you, that people are downloading into you, that experiences are teaching you. Instead, I just can't wait to turn 21 because I'm going to be able to give the whole world the middle finger because I ain't going to need nobody when I turn 21. And that is not true, because if you have not addressed the selfishness in 2020, the pride, the anger, the jealousy, the strife, if you haven't addressed that, those are all seeds sown that you will have to reap a harvest for in 2021 when you're legal, right? That legal age of 21. And when you're legal and you have to reap, now you're held accountable on a different, deeper level. So it's best that we, in 20, receiving all the lessons. Lord, tell us everything we should have downloaded. Give it to me now, Lord, so I can sow into love. I can sow into growth and purpose and promise and prosperity and peace and joy and happiness and sowing into people's lives. Don't forget that, because it ain't all about you, boo. You got to give to receive, okay? This access that you're granted for 21, it's coming with accountability and responsibility. So what is the harvest that you plan on reaping for 21? Because if you did nothing in 20, you still have a couple of days to do better. How about that? Yes, girl, you do. In 21, it's dangerous not to stay woke. Stay away concerning the people you've given access to your life. Stay away concerning the places you're going, the things you're opening your body up to, your health, your mind, the health of your mind. I want your mind to be healthy. I want you to focus and meditate on the good things. I want you to think. The Bible talks about think on these things which are lovely and a good report. And it's a whole long list. Think on the good things. Think on being a blessing to others. Think on you being blessed so that you can be a blessing to others. Think on people other than yourself. Think on how you can show up in the world and be of value. How you can be an asset and not a liability. How you can be fully grown, an adult, and able to give wisdom and show wisdom. This is the season of work. Access is granted for your due season, but you gotta be ready to work, girl. But when you do it according to God's way, when you do it according to his instruction, when you do it according to all the lessons you learned in 20 that were good and amen, all of those lessons that you apply them in 2021, you will work, but you will also reap. It's time to wake up spiritually. It's time to wake up emotionally. It's time to wake up mentally. And when I say spiritually, I'm not talking about walking around the universe did this for me at the universe. I'm talking about giving honor and praise to God. Letting people know I serve Jesus, not browbeating people with the Bible, not walking in judgment of others, unrighteous judgment, because there is a righteous judgment, not walking in judgment and condemning everybody to hell, but walking as a light and nourishing the earth with your salt as you walk through the earth. Now is that time. Right now. You don't have to wait till 2021 to start this. You want to sow these seeds now so you can reap the harvest in 21. Because it's your due season, girl. You've been granted access to your dreams, your visions, your the revelation of God's word and promise over your life. You've been granted access to be able to obtain the blessings. But what lessons are you applying and what seeds have you sown? Because you will reap all seeds, reap a harvest. Access has been granted to the due season, but the due season won't be good for everybody. I said that last week. But what have you sown? What are you sowing today? So that is how I'm going to end. That dream was so powerful in so many ways. I want to recap on being in a deep slumber. That person that broke in was stealing everything from us, including our safety. So you must stay woke. Stop listening to the enemy. All good and perfect gifts come from the Lord. If they're not good and perfect, and I don't mean perfect as in without spot or blemish. I mean if they are not good and bringing peace, they're not of or from God. Okay? And recognizing when you are in the peace of God that you don't let anyone or anything steal it, even a year. Even 2020, that you're walking around cursing your whole year. I refused in this year 2020 was the most awful year. I said no. It was a challenge. Yes, it was for many people. But I also acknowledge the blessings of God in this year. I also acknowledge the lessons that I've learned and the way God has grown me. He's grown me so much even in this year. So stop letting your mouth, this thing that's sharper than, this tongue that's sharper than any two-edged sword. Stop letting your mouth curse you. Sow seeds of plenty. Sow seeds of good, that your harvest will be plenteous and that it will reap good fruit. Okay? Access is granted. You ain't gotta wait. I know I said you ain't gotta wait, because you ain't gotta wait. The access has been granted. What happens if access is granted to an app or to a shop or a store or whatever you love, right? A bakery. If access has been granted, that means you can go in there and you can purchase. You have access to be in the place, be in the space, to take up space in the place. You can take up space in your due season, that beautiful place. It's time to walk in with your head held high and your shoulders wide and say, I am worthy. I am equipped. I am enough. I can do more than enough based on my more than enough God, based on my more than enough Jesus. Access has been granted me. I am entitled to walk in this space, to show up in this place and take authority over my purpose. Meaning I can activate that thing. It's time right now. Okay? So, in this week, especially this week, okay, because everybody's on 10 about 2021. Great, great, great. If you don't take the lessons and the blessings and grow up and stop carrying the childish messings of 2020, if you don't stop cursing your days every single day in 2020, you're going to take that same energy over into 2021. I'm not here to give you a message that sounds good and ticklish to your ears. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's time to shape up, or you're going to be shipping out in 21. I'm just telling you, but you got access. Don't abort it for anyone. This week, tell me how you're going to come out of your shell. In order to take authority in that access, you have to come out of your shell. You have to do something that's going to make you a little uncomfortable, but it makes you so much better, not bitter. That's all I got, y'all. I will see you on Thursday, on New Year's Eve night, to wish you officially a Happy New Year. But until then, come out of your shell, because it's so much more fun and you have so much more space to grow out there. Bye, girl. Bye. Thank you.